What do we predict is gonna happen in Season 2 of XRS? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to X Racing Series Plus. It is the podcast. It is the official podcast for X Racing Series. I'm joined once again with the most incredible co-host and the owner of the league. We all know him. It is Mr. Raven West. How are you doing, my friend?
Hello. I'm doing very well.
This is going to get very interesting. It's going to get very interesting. I know a lot of people are hyped about this video.
It's going to be very spicy. I'm looking forward to it greatly. It's going to be interesting. There's some controversy, I'm sure, to come. There's some people eagerly been atting myself, atting you, atting any admin they can get their hands on. Wednesday's prediction coming out. We're here.
Absolutely.
We're here now.
We are here.
So we're all okay.
Finally. So, if you weren't here at the start of Season 1, me, myself and Raven, did a predictions video where we had lots of different categories and we predicted what would happen in the season. We are returning to that idea, however, with a league 3 times the size that we originally had with our Season 2 predictions. On paper, this should be more accurate because we've now got an idea of how quick people are, what they're like in this group. However, we've had so many new people, we've been sat here for ages trying to discuss and think, well, where we should put people. And we still don't know. So that is the issue we have on our hands now. But we're going to go into it, straight into it, talk about our opinions. We're not going to be nice this time, just to let you know. We're going to be mean, we're going to be honest as well. We're going to start off nice and simple, just like we did in last season's. The best race weekend. Which track is going to have the best racing? What have you gone for? What is our first prediction?
I think it's going to be Brazil. And
Ooh.
I think the reason why it's going to be Brazil, not for any personal reasons of my own, because I'm neither here nor there about the track, shall I say. I think a lot of people have been looking forward to it. I think it leans itself quite well to racing. I think it being a sprint weekend at that point in the season is going to be a big tipping point. There's going to be most drivers will have their teeth into the championship by the first 3 races. There'll be a rough shape to the tables. The standings. I think there's going to be. I think Brazil's going to be a turning point for some people. I think there's going to be lots of action. I think there's going to be some people establishing themselves as contenders and then racing like they're contenders. I think that's going to people racing like they're title contenders is going to start in Brazil.
Absolutely. Rev, I've gone a little bit later. I've gone for Bahrain. I think. If you remember how Bahrain was, round 1 of XRS, how incredible racing that was.
Cast your mind back at me.
All the way back to how long ago that was. Add a sprint to that, and the fact it's the third to last round of the season. It is the last sprint as well. It's the last chance for drivers to score those big points. I'm thinking it's going to be some really good racing there, because it's really on the cards at that point. Championships are going to be changed very much. That might actually be the point where drivers are trying to stay within the championship striking range as well, so I think it'll be really, really good. Going across to the other side, I have a feeling I know what you're going to put. And I might have put it the same as well. The most chaotic race weekend. Which one do you think is going to go just a bit crazy?
Viva Las Vegas. It's going to be a great race. It's going to be so much fun.
I put the same thing.
It's going to be chaos. It's going to be chaos. It's going to be
unreal.
Chaos. It's going to be like, how are you going to have that long of a back straight and everyone's running low stupid wings and everyone's going to be burning their battery. There's going to be like 2 cars with 10% more battery. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so stupid. It's going to be so dumb. It's going to be so dumb. It's like Monza on crack. It's just Monza on cocaine.
Yeah, literally. What a finale as well, mind. It's going to be
a dumb track.
I mean, considering literally.
Why have we done this, Abby? I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be so stupid. It's going to, there's and we're all going to be racing there so seriously. We're all going to do. Yeah. What a perfect way to the chaos sprint season than Vegas.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I think that. Yeah, it's such a weird track. It's such a strange track to have it as the finale, the final race of 23, F1 23. I mean, on paper, with 8 races in a season, there should be bare people in the championship fight. There should be loads. So there's going to be, and even if you're not fighting for first, you're fighting for wherever you're fighting for. Think of the OCC fight going into Vegas. It's going to be mental. So
what have we done?
Yes, 100%. What have we done? Why do we put Vegas? Why do we put Abu Dhabi? Why do we put Brazil? Why do we put something nice at the end? No, of course not.
I can't lie. I'm just so bored of Abu Dhabi right now. I
Oh,
don't.
yeah, I'm not a huge fan of
I
the
don't
track
want to
either.
race around Abu Dhabi for a while. I can't lie. Anyways,
Anyway, yes, Vegas. Cool. On paper.
Vegas.
We're going to start with how we started last season. We're going to start in Division 1. Who have you put as your Constructors Champion in Division 1?
I can't lie, lads. I'm going Ferrari for all of them, but I will. I'll give you. Listen. Bear with me. So this isn't just how great Ferrari is podcast. I'll quickly get out the way why I think they're going to win it. Why I think Ferrari are going to win it, and then we'll talk about the rest. But yes, I think Ferrari's going to win Div 1. I think I can talk about this one the most. I feel like every Division 1's crazy, by the way. Division 1 is absolutely nuts.
Mental.
It's just stupid how many quick drivers are in Div 1. And
Absolutely.
yeah, I feel like there's most teams have a trend of a really, really quick driver and then a really solid backup second driver. And the way I look at it is I look at Tashubi, I look at Reese, I look at Lopez, I look at Tonio, I look at Poe, I look at Snowy on his day, I look at Sleek, I look at these drivers, and I think these are all just alienly quick drivers at times. They're all on their day can rock up and win a title. All of them are probably as quick as each other on different tracks. I know Tano quite well. I know Tashubi quite now. I've raced Reese for a couple of seasons now. I've raced Tonio before. I've raced a majority of this grid already. I think Tano on his day, if Tano turns up the way Tano turns up, I think he can pip everyone else. Whereas when it comes to the second drivers, which would be the likes of me, Cintium, Toby Monkey, I'm afraid to say exactly because he's a lot more established in the team than a second driver role would maybe suit him. But I would say Neb to Poe a little bit. Like I look at all these second kind of candidate drivers, and I feel like I can edge most of them out. I look at teams like Alpha Alpine have got two very solid drivers who are just equal to each other. They're going to be like a bit of a fall where they have gone for a different dynamic. Instead of having a just real quick and a slightly slower, they have kind of a midfield, two midfielders. I think Haas are the ones with the two probably. I don't think Sleek maybe. I don't think Snowy's at the front of the fast boys, but I think them two are both in the fast boy pool. Where along with Tano, Reese and stuff, and Tashubi. I feel like I can edge out the rest. But anyways, other people, I think the other teams to look at there will be McLaren. I know Cintium very well. I know Tashubi very well. I know how well they're going to work together. They're going to do really well. We have to look at AlphaTauri. They won last season. Reese, absolute alien pace at all times. Toby did exactly enough to sweep up the enough points behind him just to get the Constructors Championship. I think Alfa Romeo have an insane lineup. If they can work together and chip away at each other, they're going to be. It's going to be a great season for them too. Tonio, alien quick as always. Zagagli, always quick. I think there's some real. Aston have a nuts lineup. Poe and Ned in there are two. I wrote down a top 10 for Div 1. We're not going to go over all of them, but even looking at the people who I wrote in 10, 9, and 8 and 7, there's just crazy drivers in all those teams, and it just doesn't feel right. It's so. And Div 1's going to be such a division to watch. It's going to be so crazy. It's going to be nuts.
I'm really excited. Hopefully, I can stay being the head commentator of that division.
Please.
So, who have you actually gone for? Ferrari.
Ferrari, yes.
I had the same dilemma as you. I was thinking, right, who are we going to put if we're not picking Ferrari? Because surely Ferrari are going to win everything. I looked at the lineups. What? I'm just realised you're going to be assessing my season here, so I've taken I've sat back a little bit. I'm just going to listen in. I'm just going to tune into it a bit. I had a dilemma. I had the dilemma that realistically Ferrari could probably win everything. I mean, we said that last season. We nearly did. I think Ferrari could definitely, in that section of nearly could do it again. You got it spot on. I mean, Div 1 it's got an interesting situation where they haven't. I mean, the only team you could argue has got two drivers that are constantly in that top group as Haas, and we haven't seen Sleek. We've only seen Sleek do one drive, and Snowy's been a little bit wobbly on some of the tracks. Singapore, he had a good comeback, but Saudi he was kind of off the pace a little bit.
Yeah.
And obviously, like you said, you've got that kind of second. I don't like using the word second driver because you're completely right. Drivers like yourself and Ziagli and Cynthia are all very strong drivers. It's kind of like a mix of who can do the best. On my paper, I've written down Aston Martin. I have written down Aston Martin. Pal and Neb. Neb on his day with the Fanatec now. I think Neb could break into that front group, not consistently. I think he'll break into that front group just as much as you will. And I think the power is already there. Mm-hmm. But I do believe it's going to be incredibly close between McLaren, Ferrari, Alfa Romeo, Haas, certainly. Of course, the reigning champions, Tauri. I have written down Aston Martin, though, because I do think they've got a very good pairing if they can work well together. And it was a little bit of a defensive move of not to put Ferrari, because you'll see later on in this video, I've got a lot of Ferrari on my sheet. That's all I'll say. So I had to cut out where I could. But yes, I have one Aston Martin. Going into the Drivers' Championship, P3, P2, P1. Where are we going? I'll start with you. P3. Who do you think is finishing P3?
It's honestly, I haven't the foggiest of idea. I think because it actually is. Literally, I have my top 5, but I have them in no specific order.
Right. Okay.
So that's my problem. I have. We're saying that every driver can turn up to every race, and every driver turns up, as well as a driver can.
I mean, you can base it off. You can base it off the thing of like, they had bad attendance last season, so they might have bad attendance this season.
Yeah, no, but I'm looking at like half of the reasons half of them is haven't raced last season because of DivX and stuff. So
absolutely, yeah.
I think Powell's quick enough. I don't think he's got the consistency. And you go through
that you cut them off.
Yeah,
instead of saying who's the best, you're cutting from the bottom.
I think Tonio. Tony needs to find his consistency and his rhythm. Just in I haven't seen him in ages. I know he's been around league racing and all, but he's an unknown to me. I only know him as a memory, not as a current idea. Reese, I think will be in there. I think Reese is my P3. I think Tashubi's my P2, and I think Tano's my P1.
Ooh, you nearly done what I did. I've gone P3 Tano, P2 Reese, P1 Teshubi.
Interesting.
So did you put Reese P3? So we've just swapped. So you just put Tano like 2 below. Okay. That's interesting. I think that, you know what it is? The reason I put Tano 3 is because I haven't seen that from him. I completely appreciate he wasn't fighting for anything when he came down from DivX. So there wasn't a need for him to be winning races and stuff. Fair. But I have to base it off what I've seen. I also know in other leagues he is fighting Teshubi as well. So I know the pace is there. If he focuses down, he'll get there. Reese is a beast. Reese is not only fast, but consistent. The reason I think the Teshubi pips him out is because quali pace. Reese hasn't had the strongest quali, and that's picking the smallest flaw out of an almost faultless driver. Teshubi is very, very fast as it stands on raw pace anyway. Quali's going to be very important, especially when you have so many drivers. If we had full quali on, imagine the top 10 battle. Who knows what that could be? There's so many combinations of drivers that could be in that top 10 on different tracks. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think quali pace is going to be incredibly important as well. I think Teshubi's a beast. I think he's going to come back and win it. But Tano, 100%. Prove me wrong, Tano. I'm here to be proved wrong because I want a Ferrari's LV. 100%. Move on to our best driver pairing. I think I've gone for the same as you, but go on, do tell.
Has to be me and Tano.
I don't. Oh, okay. I didn't.
Has to be me and Tano. For all the reasons I've said already, me and Tano are just we're good mates. We work well together. We've worked together in other leagues. We've done other things together. We've done an endurance events together. We won that as a team where we did Le Mans together. And that was very interesting. That was obviously a whole new field for me where it was GT cars stuff, and he helped me with the driving. I helped him with strategy. It worked out really well together as a partnership. It's we just have that history together. We work really well together. We're always on the same page. I think he's going to benefit from the Ferrari infrastructure just as a driver, as any driver does, any driver will. I'm looking forward to seeing how it evolves. But yeah, no, I think it's going to be. But I have to give shout outs to other drivers. I don't know how well Neb and Poe will work together. If they work together really well, that they're potentially in that candidate as well.
Yeah.
But I think the only other people I think are going to take us to the money are Alpine.
Yeah, that was my pick.
Which I was going to say, I'm guessing you've gone for because JB and Banjo. What an unreal partnership. What an unreal partnership. Those boys have raced in GRL together. Those boys have raced in EXA together. Those boys have raced in KRL together. It's what a them two know each other so well. They've raced together so much. They are completely on the same wavelength. They're good, equal on pace. It's gonna be such a fantastic pairing to watch. I'm really genuinely excited just to see how them two work together and cook together. I think they always end up together on track. I think most races, and they're gonna just looking forward to that one a lot. It's an absolutely incredible pairing.
Yeah, what we saw last season as well was kind of like the battle between yourself and Red Bull. So you had you and JB and Neb and Banjo. Now, and obviously, you haven't gone anywhere, but in the team switches, you and Neb are kind of out the way. Now JB and Banjo are being teammates. I mean, that's a historical duo. If you're a long-term part of this kind of XRS community and where it came from, you'll know JB and Banjo are two OGs. They were there before I was, and to see them racing alongside each other is really exciting for me.
Before me as well.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Look at that. For us old guys that got there to the show. I think they're gonna. Yes, of course, 100%. In terms of teamwork, off track as well. I think that yourself and Tano is 100% a candidate for that. Again, slightly defensive to not go Ferrari every time. I'm gonna go for Alpine. I think they've got a really. That's one of my favourite Div 1 duos. I can't lie.
Yeah. They may not be the quickest, but I think they're such a good partnership and personalities, and that team dynamic will gel so well. Like the chemistry there, if we're talking chemistry, then the Alpine is one of the best for sure.
And it's not even like that as well, because if you think in an 8-race season, something a team like Alpine need, who came last in the OCC last season, is consistent points. They've got two of the most consistent drivers who are always going to show up for the races. I would be surprised if one of them didn't show up for one of the races this season. They're going to be there, sitting in the points, just like they did this season that we've just had. I think they are Alpine's dream team. I think. We're going to go a little bit more negative. Teammate rivalry. Yes, everyone knows this one. Who do you think is going to have a slight teammate rivalry? These two pairings, I'm not going to get on too well. Do you want to go first?
I think it could potentially be the Alfa Romeo boys, you know.
Oh, I put them too.
I don't think either of them want to be the quote-unquote second driver. I don't think either of them want to be seen as that. I know Ziagli's very proud of his time and history with the team. I know it means a lot to him. I know Tonio I know Tonio quite well, and he's definitely he's a lead a team from the front kind of personality, and
absolutely.
I think they won't hesitate to race each other if they feel like they're quicker than each other. So
absolutely, yes.
And I think that's what it's going to genuinely boil down to. Is it's going to be in a split race in a short calendar where they're both, because even round 4 it's going to take two wins and you're back in the title fight, and both these drivers could be in a position where they're on the fringe of maybe staying in or out of a title fight, and they're both going to be just going for it on each other. And I think like the last pair, I think the last two, if you were to get every pair of drivers and have them ask each other for priority role, I think the last ones to find a mutual agreement would be the Alfa Romeos. So.
Probably, yeah. I think it's not even like, you can't even reflect it to being ego driving. I think that literally these are two drivers who know their almost worth. They know they're going to be at the front. I mean, we've seen them both work well with teammates as well. It's not even like it's their personalities them. We've seen Tonio work well with teammates. Obviously, Ziagli and Alfie was a really good duo.
Yeah.
It's not them on their own. It's not them together. And their teamwork wise, it's those two wanting to be that top driver, wanting to be at the front. I completely agree with you. If they have an opportunity to pass each other, they will go for it.
Yeah, it's nothing to do with like egos. It's not their personalities. It's not their it's not that we think they're like those kind of, like, you know, the negative traits, shall we say? It's just they're just both worthy like leaders of teams. They're both
literally, yeah.
Like it's almost kind of like what you've got with Russell and Hamilton had with Russell and Hamilton and Mercedes, where you've got two drivers. Neither of them wants to be the follower. Like if you put Verstappen, in Ferrari, he's not going to be Leclerc's second driver anytime soon. It's the two personalities they are. The two. Neither of them are a Bottas. So,
It could
Well,
probably be a
I'm
bit
gonna-
threatening as well for Ziagli's part as well, because I mean, he was in the team first, and I know he'll be honouring that of I was the Alfa Romeo first Div 1 driver.
I was here
Perhaps
when
a
they
driver
were
like
P10.
Tonio come through. Yeah, he was one of the reasons why they've torpedoed up the order, and to have a driver of Tonio's caliber come be your teammate it can be threatening. I
100%.
imagine. I mean, so yeah, we'll have to see. Div 1, catch us on Thursdays? God, on Sundays. Cannot wait. But we are going to move back in the weekend. We're going to go to the Saturday division. It is Division 2. Is there even a conversation for who wins Constructors? What a duo there is in this division. I think it's going to be really close, but I think there is a standout. Who have you put? I think I put the same one.
It has to be Ferrari, doesn't it? Anyways,
Yeah.
why I think Mercedes will come P2. I think if Flair can turn up to races and not leave the league 4 times in a season, him and Dylan are going to be just crazy good drivers for this division.
Absolutely.
They're
hair is
two boys from Northern Ireland. So it's always nice to see those like nationality pairings line up. Well, they have different nationalities, but they're from the same geological region. We'll dance around the politics for 2 seconds, but yes, we'll. But I think they're both fantastic drivers. I think they're really genuinely just so. I think they're just both so quick, especially for the division. I think they're genuinely going to be a lightning duo, relying that Flair's consistency with attendance is there. But I think they're both consistent. They're both quick. Obviously, I know Dylan so well from Ferrari. I think there's no him and Har in there. I know he was a fantastic driver there, so he's going to be equally good.
Yeah.
Fuck's sake! Cut this
Bless you.
fucking bit. Yeah, find a natural place to cut off there, but then, and maybe cut me in here. I'm gonna cut back in a second. But yeah, he's just a great driver. I know from his time at Ferrari. Of course, he was a fantastic teammate for Casper. He's going to take all the knowledge that he learnt in that season with him to Mercedes. It's going to be. I see zero reason why Mercedes won't be a contender if Flair can turn up the way I know he used to.
Yeah. Yeah, I think P1's going to go to Ferrari, but given you've talking so nicely on Mercedes, I'll talk about another team that I think will be up there. I'm going to go Haas. We really started to see Astro's consistency at the end there. I think he bagged a couple podiums, got his first win in COTA. I think he is a challenger for the future.
Yes.
I don't think he's going to win the title this season. But I do think he's going to be up there this season. And with a division as tightly packed as Division 2 was last season, but especially this season also, I think that he is going to be certainly bagging some big points. Similar with OJ. OJ's first race was Portugal, which he nearly won. And since then, he's been up there in every race. So it was a little bit disappointing to see him drop his seat. But obviously, I wish him all best of luck with his own league, which was the reason for that. Very, very glad to see him come back to our league, come back racing. He's got his seat with Haas. I think him and Asteroid are going to work very well together. A challenger for P2, 100%. Sorry, that's such a downside of it. Challenger for P2. Go for the win. Go for P1.
I will counter your Haas with the Alfa Romeo argument. I think that Dodo is the same position as Asteroid with the future contender. In the most respectful way possible, I think Dodo just edges out Dodo. No, Dodo just edges out Asteroid. I think he just about over a season.
Yeah.
I think Smatic Coast is. I think he's actually a bit of a dark horse in there. I think he's actually a bit of a dangerous one. I think he's going to take it. I think he's going to take it to my 2 drivers. I really think it.
Smatic Ghost is a beast when he needs to be.
When he turns up on his day, he's an absolute monster. He can race with me on his good days. So I think he's definitely going to be up there. I think the Astons as well are a very good pairing. I think they need to be consistent. I think that's going to be their problem. But if they can be consistent, then that's such a solid pairing as well. Oh, there's so many good drivers everywhere.
We've essentially just named the entire division. Yes.
Yes. Apart from Williams. Sorry, lad.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. Drivers' Championship. Who's getting a trophy at the end of the season? Who is your 3, 2, 1? Who's it going to be? Such a tight division as well.
It is. It's crazy. All of them are. But I think Smatic Coast P3. I think Ronan Keane P2, and I
Oh
think
no!
P1.
Oh dear. Okay, yeah. I mean, I haven't gone for the same as you, but okay. Let me get. Oh no! Right, P3. I've gone for Mosmegan, my boy.
Expected. He's my P4. He's my P4. To be fair.
Fair. P2. I've gone for Casper. P1.
Ooh.
I've gone for Kino.
Ooh,
I think-
no, it's spicy.
We started something. We started Hamilton versus Rosberg here. I
dear.
think, and I said this when Kino signed for Mercedes as well. And we saw his pace. He is a championship. He could 100% win a championship. He needs to be in the right team. Mercedes at that time, but still now, is not the right team. Ferrari is. I think, and it's not. I don't think Kino will run away with it. There will be a fight there, but it will be the first time we see a fight between two teammates because I think they are the two quickest in the division, especially under kind of the Ferrari foundation. We haven't seen Kino with that. Yeah, I mean, it's not even like these two are unfamiliar with each other. They crashed into each other at Monza last season. We've got Monza round one. You know, so it's gonna be a tight one. But I have given it to Kino. I have.
Interesting. Very interesting indeed.
But go on, do tell me, what do you think?
I think that's very interesting. Yeah, I said I think Asteroid. I think Dylan will be up there for sure. He's gonna be. I think he's gonna maybe experience a little bit what I experienced when I first took over as team principal. Was you take so much away from your own driving. There's a little time to adjust to that. I think we may not see him as the same man he was when he was just a driver. I think he's gonna have. I think he's got 3 other divisions to worry about. He's got his own teammate to worry about. He's got management to worry about. So yeah, I think a lot of people kind of go from full-time drivers to TPs. Do have a little bit of an off-season, just where they adjust their responsibilities. I think that's going to happen to him. I think he's going to hit 24 very strong, like F1 24 very strong. But I think it's going to be his just feeding out process with the TP job. I feel like Samanic is going to come in and just be if he's consistent with his races, which I know he can be, and with his attendance, I think he's going to be that guy. I really think. I think he might even he might even split my boys. I'm worried about that driver.
Yeah. Fair. Yeah, I completely agree. In terms of Mosmegan, in my, if I remember back to when I was team principal, 100%, because it's not even like just the things you listed. It's the fact that my races weren't just dependent on my own championship, and it's nice to get points for the team. It's like your points mean for the team. You don't want to be telling your drivers to be getting winning races, getting podiums, getting top fives, all this and that when you're not able to. You know what I mean? There's that added pressure of you need to be performing, showing by example what your drivers should be doing. So no, I completely agree. I do think that I just rate him. I just rate Mosmegan. I think he's rapid. The fact that he's on a controller as well, is in how quick he is. I think it's insane, and especially since I don't think people realize how close. Bless you. I don't think people realize how close he was to winning the championship last season. A lot of people, because Casper had an unreal start, which is why he had the whole Casper dominant, all this and that. He had the ability to level off. Who knows what he would have done had he kept pushing to that level to the end of the season. But Mosmegan missed, I think, 4 races, maybe 5, and was 100% in striking range had he done those races. It's an interesting situation going into a new season when they're not even teammates anymore. So, I mean, I am going to say Casper's going to beat Mosmegan, but I don't think the gap will be very big. And I have gone for Kino P1 because I think I'm just excited to see him in Ferrari. I'm excited to see what he can do with this new foundation against Casper. I think it's going to be an incredible title fight, those two.
And they need to win it because they're expensive, boys. 180 mil right there.
Yeah, literally.
185.
We're going
eye-watering money.
Yeah, literally. We're going to go to our best driver pairing. Who do you think the two teammates are going to work well best across the division? Who do you think?
I think potentially Mercedes.
Ooh, wow. Okay, that is not what I put.
I think Dylan and Flair will get on. Mosmegan and Flair. I think they will get on.
Yeah.
And I think they'll just work well together. I think it'll be a good pairing. I think they'll both play for the team. I think having your TP also be your teammate, you don't really have a choice to not play for the team. Realistically, unless a TP themselves turns around and says, "Okay, I'm playing second fiddle here." But yeah, it's I think they'll just be a good pairing. I think if Flair can get into the rhythm, I keep saying it because he's left the league so many times and come back. But if he stays this time, then he's 100%. I think him and Dylan will cook in those 2 seats.
Yeah, fair.
Yourself, Avi, what have you gone for?
I have again tried to avoid Ferrari, the obvious answer. Although actually, this is probably the division where I wouldn't have put Ferrari anyway, because it'd be interesting to see both of them. How selfish will they be if they're in a situation where it's them versus each other for the title fight, and maybe the OCC is still close? Would they be so generous to be nice teammates? But for my best teammate pairing, I have gone actually for Haas. I think that. I think Asteroid's a really likable guy. I think he's a really likable kid. I think he's a really good team principal. He seems like I'm very excited to see what he does in this in a first full season for himself. OJ seems like he's got a good kind of public presence. He seems to be gelling well with the Haas boys. I mean, he came back from
For sure.
I don't really call it retirement, but you know what I mean. Come back from his little break, breaking his contract.
Hiatus.
Straight to Haas. Yeah. And he went straight back to Haas. It wasn't even on the driver market. He went straight back to Haas. So there is clearly a relationship there between those two. I think they'll work well together. I think Asteroid will have that behind him of, I'm not just kind of fixing what the previous Haas team principal was doing and just do the best I can. He's now probably got targets on some of these drivers. I want us to finish here with this and this. So I would say that the drive between those two will be very good. I think that they'll work very well together. So I'm going to go Haas. My teammate rivalry, and it sucks to put the same team twice. I have gone for Alfa Romeo. I have gone for Dodo and Somatic Coast. I will tell you why. It is not because I think they're not going to get on track. It's because I don't think Somatic Coast is going to be on track in the first place. I think that Somatic Coast's attendance is going to let the team down in a season that is 8 races long, and a teammate is the team principal who struggled the first half of the season with no teammate for almost the entirety. I think that there's going to be tension between the two because Somatic Coast doesn't turn up.
Interesting.
Well, what about you?
Very interesting point. I can't lie. I completely agree with your points. Fair. You make a very convincing argument, Mr. Avi.
Yeah.
However, I have gone for my 2 Ferrari drivers.
That's interesting.
I don't think there's going to be beef between the two. I don't think that. I think that they've spoken already. I think they will, if they don't develop a personal relationship, I think they'll definitely keep a very strong professional one. I feel like that's part of the ethos of being a Ferrari driver anyway. You always have at least a professional relationship with your teammates. I feel like I don't feel there's going to be there shouldn't be any viciousness or any vindictiveness. I just think they're going to be as quick as each other. And I think that I think if Kino hits this season running, he's going to be wanting to fight for the title. Casper's going to want to defend it. It's going to be. I'm going to be sitting there having to just try and get them both to play for the team. So, it's going to be interesting. So that's going to be its own little project. I'm going to have to balance for myself.
Hurdle. I was going to say hurdle to go. I don't know.
Oh yeah, hurdle. Yeah, mountain to climb, plate to spin. We can be here all day. Don't you worry.
We are going to move once again back a day. Going almost back in time here. Down a division. We're going to go down to Division 3, which is no less of an incredibly close title fight, and all the rest of it across the board. Constructors Championship. Who are you going to put as winning the Constructors Championship in Division 3?
Right, so I've gone for Ferrari, but anyway, so P2.
You didn't put me last season, and he's put me this season. Let's go. Yes.
Look, okay, so in all seriousness. No, it's not me. Div 3 is going to come down to 2 teams, in my opinion. It's going to be McLaren. It's going to be Ferrari. I'm backing my boys all the way, but it's going to be them too.
I'm ready for it. Oh, it's going to be good.
I feel like it's going to be very interesting. I would like to say, though, I think before I get my teeth into Ferrari and McLaren, I want to go off field a little bit. I think Williams are going to have their life raft in Division 3. I think Liam
Really?
and Melvin are going to do. I think they're going to do really good things. I really think they're going to do good things. I'm really excited to see them too. You know, especially as they develop and get adjusted to the division. I think, especially next season as well. But I think they're just a really interesting one to watch. I think they're the ones to watch for me. I can't lie.
That's fair. I mean, I talked about it in the Abu Dhabi podcast actually. That I don't think that Melvin threw away the title with a bad strategy in Abu Dhabi, but he certainly could have been closer to it if he'd got the strategy right. What Liam's now bringing in from McLaren, a big team that was fighting for the OCC, into Williams, which is less so, is experience. He's bringing in that foundation, that knowledge. Liam could really be a golden boy in that team. And that lineup together, considering, I mean, they were fighting each other for the title fight. They are front drivers in Division 4. They've now come up to Division 3. I completely agree. I think they'd be good drivers together.
For sure.
But yes, constructors fight.
Constructors fight. The thing is, so for me, it's Williams are the dark horse, and there's two. They're the David. There's two Goliaths. They're both those drivers. I mean, the lineup. The cheapest driver is you, Avi, with 94, and then it's 95,
Really?
96, and 100 mil.
It's me. I'm cheapest. Really? Wow. Okay.
You're cheapest of those four by 1 mil. And then,
I'm thinking surprises if I didn't do it.
And then
I don't
4 mil,
remember.
100.
Yeah, it's deserved numbers, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, so I mean, they're such expensive lineups, and they're the two Goliath teams. No, like in Div 1 we have our 19, we have our 18 mil drivers up and down the grid. Here we just have Goliaths to go together. I think speaking of Goliaths, we have the actual Man Mountain team of AlphaTauri. I think they're definitely a solid candidate. I think it's going to be McLaren, Ferrari fighting.
I just clocked that.
Sorry.
Man Mountain.
I think it's going to be McLaren and Ferrari fighting for P1 and P2, and I think it's then going to be Tauri, Williams, and Red Bull fighting for P3.
I completely agree. I think Red Bull have got a really, really good lineup actually with Nick.
I think Div 3 they actually have got. I think they're also dark horses.
I think that's their saving grace. I won't lie. Red Bull.
Agreed. I can't lie. We haven't mentioned them yet for a reason.
Yeah. Yes, I'm going to say Constructors' Championship, completely agree. I think it's going to be between Ferrari and McLaren. I have put Ferrari down. I do think we'll edge it out. I will say, actually, and I'll give you my actual thoughts, actually. So there was a period... there was a period last season. It was between mid-season and when I won the title in round 14. And in that period, I was so annoyed because I'd let Matt take the championship lead for the season break. The gap was, I think, 8 points. I'd led the championship, other than Millard, obviously. I'd led the championship of the drivers who were competing for it from the start to mid-season, and I let Matt have that little squeak. And he led the championship into the mid-season break by, I think, 7 points. And so 7 is completely fixable. 7 points is, what have I done wrong? If I hadn't driven into the wall in the pit lane in Qatar, if I got a better qualifying in Australia, if I got the strategy right in Monza, what did I do to get? If I didn't speed in the pit lane in Monza, not in Monza, in Australia.
No, that was not a mistake. That was
anger.
That was
frustration.
That was me. That was a dig. That was a subtle dig. I mean, that was.
Right. Sorry. Yeah.
With Monza. That was Australia. Big man.
Australia.
We don't need to talk about me. We don't need to talk about me. We don't need to talk about me. I didn't even mean
to do that. It was unintentional.
Let's just actually, you know what? Let's just let the past be the past. You know what I mean? Let's just let the past be the past.
Anyway, yeah, mid-season, and obviously he had to overtake me at the worst point where you have a week to sit on this. You have a week to sit on. I'm not the championship leader. There's someone ahead of me on more points. That irritated me. That really frustrated me. And if you noticed, the 5 races following, until I won the title, I was on demon form. So let's imagine that Kota, the game, hadn't just disqualified me, and I won that race. In those 5 races, I think I got pole twice, won both sprint races, got 3 wins, and was on the podium in all of them. That's my prime. I've never been quicker than that. That was my right. I'm winning this. I'm winning this today kind of situation. And that's exactly the same mentality I'm taking into season 2 from day one. The only 2 drivers that competed with me in all 5 of those races was Skiz and Katie. The only 2. They were always there, the ones being on me. So I'm going to have to take that form into new season with Malachi, because those two teaming up together, I think it's going to go down to the line. I have given it to Ferrari for the Constructors' Championship, but Katie and Skiz were the two that fought me when I was in my fastest situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a mental one for sure. But go on, who have you put for your 1, 2, 3 for your drivers? This is actually, I'm interested in which order you've gone for this, because I'm assuming you've gone top 4 is us 4 in some variation of order.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I have also. What order have you gone for? Because I'm interested.
I'm gonna go top bottom. I think.
Top to bottom. So you think you win the title? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think Malachi's gonna win the title.
Yep, I put that too.
I think Katie is gonna come second.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Skiz is gonna come third.
You've dipped me. You've actually dipped me. You've balled me up in a ball and kicked me out. You said I was going to win constructors, and then you got my hopes up. Is that what just happened?
I deeply apologise.
Have you actually? Oh, that's criminal, you know.
I'll tell you why.
Yeah.
I think there's going to be a race or two where you may play more team games than either of the McLarens will do ever in the entire season. And I feel like if the situation arises, you're the most likely driver out of all 4 of them to willingly take a second position in a race.
Yeah, absolutely.
To
I agree.
I feel like that's gonna be the difference. It's gonna be just that. Like if Malachi's in it, I know that you're willing to help Malachi push for that. I feel like Skiz and Katie are going to both want it at all times. So, yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear that. I mean, I said it in earlier this season. Going into the new season, I haven't got the drive to win the championship as much as I did last season. Again, I am looking for a constructors. We weren't able to confirm that last season. I'm looking for the constructors. I'm looking to go for the title again, 100%. But no, I have put in my order. I've put P1 Malachi, P2 KD, P3 me. But I think, as obviously P4 Skiz. I think it could realistically be a bit variation of any of those 4. I do agree that Malachi's going to. You know what it is? I think Malachi's the quickest on raw pace, and I think if I'm able to be his teammate, he'll win it. But for that reason, I'll accept P4. I do appreciate that. I feel like
Skiz and Katie will take too many points off each other to fight Malachi, and I feel like the reason why Malachi will create the gap is because you'll be willing to almost lend him some of yours or give him some of your points.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In races, and I feel like Skiz and Katie will be too busy taking points off each other to think about their own to think of their individual drivers. I feel like if one team goes focus on one driver, and I think the only counter they can do to that is have prioritize one of the drivers from the start, and then even then I don't think either driver wants to do it. I think they're as quick as each other. I don't think personality wise Kamikaze or the Skizzler is going to want to pull over there and become second place. I just feel like it's going to become that. I think that's the reason why they're going to be 2 and 3. I think it's going to come down to it's going to be one race that in Vegas that's going to decide the Div 3 constructors. I think for sure it's going to be nuts.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tight one, and I respect all 3 because it's not even like. Yeah, I think we're all just good drivers. We're all very safe, we're all very clean, and we're all very fast. So I think, yeah, fair enough. I'll gladly accept that any 4 of us will do well, because I like all 4 of us. So anyway, yes. So that's it. Driver pairing, right? Driver pairing. Who have you gone for as the best working teammates? Who have you gone for?
I mean, I've gone for you two, you and Malachi.
Yeah, I've got to.
I know everyone knows how well you two get on with each other. I mean, you call him your husband for God's sake. So, it has to be a good pairing. On paper, in code on Discord, you two have always been a good pairing. So hopefully on track it becomes one as well.
Yeah. I agree, completely agree. I think that it's an interesting one actually because it's. You really can't separate because obviously Skiz and Katie are cousins. Me and Malachi have been racing friends for over a year. there's no separation of us two, is there really, in these two teams? I have gone for me and Malachi for the idea that I think there's less competitiveness in between us. Maybe because if I hadn't won the title last season, my attitude would be completely different. It would be I'm beating Malachi, I'm beating Skiz, especially I'm beating Malachi. This season, I'm not accepting that I'm a second driver, but I want to help Malachi. I want to get the constructors. I want to do it together, kind of situation. So yes, fair enough. I think the Skiz and Katie are both competitive enough to sometimes attack each other. You know what I mean? Or to slow each other down. So yes, I accept that. Fair enough. Teammate rivalry. Who have you gone for your teammate rivalry? I've gone for
McLaren. I can't lie. I've gone for McLaren. I can't lie.
Fair.
I think, as you said, I think they're competitive with each other enough to go for it. I think they could, if they don't play their cards right, and it starts. I think if it starts early, they run the risk of losing P2 because of it, potentially. This is all hypothetical. They could be perfect with each other on track for all we know. This is just us waffling with hypotheticals or in the unknown. I feel like. I just feel like if any of those two teams are going to have two drivers so equally matched on pace who are going to rub shoulders, it's probably going to be McLaren. I think Williams will be too far down for them to chip over each other almost. And when I say too far down, I mean from the front ones. I think they're going to be. I think McLaren and Ferrari are going to blow it out the water so much for other teams. They're gonna like. I think Liam and Melvin and the Red Bulls and the Tauris. I think they'll work well together for the P3 spot. I think they'll all realise they have to work together for the P3 spot, and I don't think any of them will have a title fight on. I think they'll all be willing to work for the constructors kind of fights. I think they will just naturally form good teammates because they'll be aiming for the same thing. Whereas who I think the title fighters are going to be, which is in the red and the orange team. I feel like the two that are going to work better together is going to be the Ferrari boys, and the two that work not so well together are going to be the McLaren boys.
So it's almost like because they're fighting for the title, it's almost like kind of more exaggerated their link together.
The desire to be a first or a second driver, because when there's such a clear what we're predicting happens where McLaren and Ferrari just run away and it's them four fight. It's like Verstappen, Bottas, and Hamilton on that podium in the 2021 season. If it's like that with the occasional second driver coming in as well. If it's like that, where it's like the same four views on the podiums every week, I feel like the other teams will very quickly realise that their own title fights aren't on the cards, so they're going to be then aiming at constructors, and I think they'll just naturally work together because of that. I think Pink's going in to work with Matt, you know what I mean? I feel like Nick and Ozzy get on so well together already, they're already close mates. I feel like Liam and Melvin will realise the importance of working together for the greater good very early on, and I feel like the place where there's potentially going to be having someone to agree to not fight for their own title is going to be in McLaren. And I think that's where the biggest potential rift is going to come from. It's just there. Similar to the Ferrari boys I have in Div 2, where there's potentially going to be having someone who's going to agree to not fight for a title, and that's a big decision to make and a big ask for anyone. So I feel it's going to be in McLaren if anywhere.
It's worried because one of them's also team principal as well.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be. I think if there's ever going to be a cooking pot of controversy and tension, is going to be in there.
Fair. That's actually very fair. I could very easily put McLaren. Actually, I have actually gone for Mercedes as my teammate rivalry. I met Ransdale few days ago in an open lobby. Invited him to the league. Seemed like a lovely chap. Seemed very nice. Very excited to see what we can do. He is my pace. He is going to be at the front. He is going to be around. He's going to be around me. He's going to be around Big B. Big B and CGM crashed into each other in cops last season as teammates. Why? Yeah. Who knows? Will there be the same communication? I think, because what I found out actually after, Big B and CGM weren't even in a VC together. They were, and their attempts of working together as teammates was very strange. Letting each other through in not helpful spaces and then crashing each other in cops, which allowed Matt back into the fight. This situation is going to be very, very reliant on Moz Megan's communication, or getting those two drivers to talk to each other. Because Ransdale's a question mark. Because an open lobby shows less than a time trial does. It shows literally nothing. And Big B hasn't shown the fantastic colours from season 1. So it's gonna be an interesting kind of crash of question marks almost of like of how it's gonna work out together. So that's why I've gone for Mercedes. I'm taking my
That's a very
chances.
fair point. And we know Big B's not one to back out of a I want to be first driver situation.
Yes,
So-
he's very much wanting to have that kind of space, more like that kind of what's it called?
Freedom.
Honorability, freedom.